Sure. Thanks, Wade, and thanks HubWeek for having us here today. I'm Keia Cole, and I lead our digital experience team. So we work on all customer-facing digital properties for MassMutual. MassMutual is a life insurance, retirement, and investments company, and so MassMutual.com and other digital properties that are customer-facing, along with our mobile apps and other forms of emerging technology.
Okay, great. That's a good introduction. Thank you. Great. And Sears, what's the point of having a data science team at MassMutual?
Yeah, great question. So data science at MassMutual is focused on embedding data-driven decision-making into every aspect of the customer experience at the company, and really into every business process and decision-making process that exists to make that company, a sustainable, viable firm. So we've been working on that for the last 5 years, and as we'll talk about later in our dialogue here, we've managed to do some pretty compelling projects and develop some pretty innovative solutions that do just that.
Okay, great. So MassMutual is, I think, a lot older than most people realize. It's been around in some form or another for 167 years, I think, and it's based in Springfield, Massachusetts, but has 7,000 people around the country. And it's obviously best known for helping people with life insurance needs, but it also helps people with retirement annuities and brokerage accounts. And those are all high-tech things, but I don't think most people think of technology and life insurance in the same breath. Okay, so can you explain why we should start thinking differently about what an insurance company can be and how it can use mobile, the internet, and other modern technologies to really create a different experience around being insured or around investing?
Sure. Do you want to start? Or? Yeah. So I think one of the ways we think about it is that an insurance company shouldn't be different than any other company. Customer expectations are pretty much the same across the board. So you want, your customer experience to be as seamless as Amazon. You also want, search to be as easy as Google, and the interface to be as easy as something like using Lyft. And people bring that same expectation when they interact with an insurance company. So we also have to be thinking innovatively and disrupting ourselves. MassMutual delivered its first policy on horseback in 1851. And so we like to think that customer expectations have changed a lot since then, and they're changing more rapidly, and we have to keep up if we want to compete.
Okay.
Yeah, and I think to build on that, one of the ways that we think about doing that is by pairing our digital experiences with data-driven thinking and data-driven algorithms that really help optimize and streamline all the ways in which a consumer wants to interact with a modern digital company today.
Okay. Let's get specific. What new products or experiences are you delivering now that maybe weren't around 5 years ago or 10 years ago that change what it's like to be a MassMutual customer? What are you most proud of?
For me, it's our mobile applications. It's a feature and functionality that people expect and use, and so we've put the details around both our retirement accounts and insurance policies at people's fingertips, and making that more accessible for them. And so I think that has been a labor of love for people. And beyond that, we're working on building out our emerging technology capabilities, so Alexa skills and other types of things that we hope customers will want to use.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think to build on that, a lot of the focus has been purely on how do we optimize the customer experience. And as Keia just said, the way that manifests itself from a consumer point of view is typically what you interact with and what you get to see. But there's a lot of interesting things that are happening kind of behind the scenes. So one of the really compelling things that we've developed over the last couple of years is how those policies are assessed from a risk point of view, and ultimately how fast they can be issued after that risk assessment or underwriting is done. So behind the scenes at MassMutual, you can now go online, buy a kind of traditional insurance policy, and have all of that be issued quite quickly through a really modern digital experience to collect the information that one needs to do that, and then in the back end, processing that information with modern algorithms and data science models.
To me, insurance and also retirement and brokerage accounts are the kind of thing where speaking personally, I'd like to just set it and forget it, right? I want it to have to work behind the scenes. I want to know there's a trustworthy company holding my account. I want it to be there when I need it, but most of the time I don't even want to think about it. So I wonder whether, from a design point of view, you have trouble keeping people, what do you do to keep people engaged and to remind them, hey, this is a real company, we're doing innovative things, we've got tools you might want to check out. How do you make it exciting?
Yeah, that's really interesting. It is something that we have struggled with and worked on. A good example of this is one internal startup that we have called Society of Grownups, so you can go check it out. But there we've really worked on the quality of content and videos around financial literacy that's been really engaging, especially on topics where people are less familiar and don't even know why they need to set it and forget it. And Society of Grownups is a good way of which we've been able to pull people in. The content's kind of fun, a little irreverent, and engaging for a certain demographic.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think, like you said, relatively speaking, you might expect a customer of ours to engage less with us than they do with, shopping on Amazon or going to Facebook. But one of the risks is they actually forget to engage. All right, and so what we've done is built out, lots of experiences and predictive models that allow us to intelligently remind folks when they should think about coming back and having a conversation or evaluating their 401k or the policies that they may own.
I wonder whether you have a special challenge dealing with millennials, basically the younger part of the demographic, because these are folks who might not have ever had a reason to really think deeply about either life insurance or retirement. When you're 20, 65 or 70 seems an infinity away. But then it rushes up on you. So what are you guys doing to help younger people engage with that whole world of scary things like insurance and investment?
So I'm not really sure where we should start or what I should say, but I think we're technically millennials. That's true. On the cusp.
Okay, so you have some street cred.
Sure. We're working on it. So one thing I saw sort of mention another internal startup, Haven Life, which has been specifically focused on that challenge. Haven has been around for about 4 years, and it basically, they sell life insurance online. So I think I still like to talk on the phone, but a lot of people don't want to meet face-to-face with an advisor or call into a call center to buy a product. And Haven has really revolutionized the way you can buy a policy online.
Yeah, and I would say, again, to kind of build on that, the other thing that I certainly expect, and that I think other millennials demand, is transparency and a deeper understanding of how the interactions and the information that we require to offer them products and services are ultimately used, right, to drive that kind of impact. So we've created LifeScore Labs, which is a modern way to assess and predict risk. We've branded that LifeScore 360. And the intention there is to provide a mechanism for all future life insurance buyers to have a score similar to a FICO score that they can easily interpret and understand and change through time as the data that we use to estimate that score also changes, right? So that's kind of a first that we've seen in our industry around being transparent and educating consumers about how all of this works. We see that as another great way that we've kind of pushed the envelope.
Can you say a little more about LifeScore Labs? I mean, there are all sorts of risks in life. Which kinds of risks are you helping people to keep track of? Yeah,
so we're focused today on life insurance risk, right? So if you wanted to buy a policy through Haven, for example, LifeScore offers a product called LifeScore 360 that allows you to assess that risk and ultimately make a decision around how you should be issued a policy.
And it's mostly your health and longevity, right? That's the kind of risk.
Yeah, so the inputs that go into that are kind of industry standard data points that folks have used over the years to do a traditional risk assessment. We've packaged that up as a modern predictive model with a nice interpretable way to understand how that score varies with the inputs that go into it.
Are you trying to give customers or potential customers a way to figure out how much insurance they should have or at what age they should start buying it, or just some way into the whole system? Is that part of the idea?
This would be something that probably follows that step. So typically in the insurance industry, what you described would be like a needs analysis. So this is taking a holistic look at who you are as a person, where you stand financially, what your life situation is, and then conditioned on those factors, you would then understand what types of products and services you might need. Once you make a decision to actually purchase one of those, you go through an underwriting process, and that typically determines premiums and other types of products and things that you might want to buy. The LifeScore 360 product is a way to essentially streamline that process and provide a very standard way for a consumer to understand their risk and, again, go through the buying process.
Great. Let's use the rest of our time to talk about recruiting and talent and careers. How do you go about finding talented programmers and other professionals to come to work at MassMutual? Why did each of you wind up at MassMutual?
Do you want to start? How did you end up at MassMutual?
So I came to MassMutual really for one reason. At the time I joined, we were just starting on our digital transformation journey, and our objective was to really make industry-level change and work on industry-level fundamental problems that are going to have a benefit that actually spans well beyond the walls of MassMutual. And to me, that's something I'm personally passionate about doing at the highest level in my career. So when I saw that opportunity going on in this industry, I quickly took it.
Great. And you, Keia?
Somewhat similar, but really passionate about MassMutual's mission to help all Americans secure their future and protect the ones they love. And one of the ways that we're doing that is through technology. Technology will give us the opportunity to offer more products and make those products more accessible, and that's personally really important to me.
That's a perfect note to end on. Thank you both so much. Sears Merritt and
Thank
Keia
you.
Cole. Thank you so much.